One of the biggest silver dealers, gold and silver dealers in Switzerland is called Degussa. They are currently out of stock. They were a day or two ago. They've not been able to get any silver stock in for weeks, literally. Of course, silver is coming in the door from sellers, but the second it comes in the door, it's taken by the next person who comes in. It's completely sold out. As far as so they've got nothing at all in silver. As far as gold is concerned, they're almost sold out. All the small bars and all the coins have gone. So all they have left are the 250 gram bars, the 500 gram bars, and the 1 kilo bars. So literally there is a visible shortage here in Switzerland. And Switzerland is the home to many, many family offices, very many high net worth individuals. So whilst I can't comment on the situation in other countries like the United States, what I do see is that in a country full of wealthy people who bank here, they are basically coming here and helping themselves to what silver or gold they can lay their hands on. I'm hearing I was speaking with a guy just the other day, a young man who from the UK who's been trying to load up their silver vault, and they've been going around the various coin dealers trying to lay their hands on it, and the stuff isn't available, except that there's a little bit available, but this is more collector coins.
The markets are often loudest just before they break, yet the most critical signals are currently emanating from the quietest corners of the financial world. A profound disconnect has emerged between the volatile paper price of silver and the absolute scarcity of the physical metal. While the electronic tickers show a recovery to the $74 level following a violent shakeout, the vaults in Zurich and Geneva tell a different, final story. In Switzerland, the home of global wealth preservation, the illusion of abundance has evaporated. As analyst Clive Thompson reports, there is now a visible shortage here in Switzerland. The major dealers are entirely out of stock, unable to source inventory for weeks. This is not a retail frenzy driven by small speculators. It is a strategic exodus by the ultra-wealthy. Thompson observes that high net worth individuals and family offices are coming here and helping themselves to what silver or gold they can lay their hands on. They are not asking for exposure, they are taking possession. The mathematical inevitability of this drain is now visible on the COMEX futures exchange. The data reveals that deliveries in 2025 were more than double those of the previous year, a trend that has accelerated violently into 2026. In February alone, nearly 98% of open interest has stood for delivery, a statistic that signals the end of the futures market as a hedging mechanism and its transformation into a delivery vehicle of last resort. The approaching March contract represents the event horizon, with 429 million ounces of open interest facing off against a registered inventory that has collapsed to just 103 million ounces. The ledger is unbalanced. As Thompson states plainly, the maths doesn't work. If the current stress levels persist, the market faces a potential shortfall of over 200 million ounces in a matter of weeks. The paper price may fluctuate, driven by margin hikes and algorithmic trading, but the physical metal is leaving the system. The eligible and registered stocks are draining simultaneously. The era of financialized silver is drawing to a close, replaced by a return to tangible reality, where, as Thompson concludes, the wealthy are simply helping themselves to what remains. Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Make sure to check out our other videos on the silver market and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
Lehman crisis, there was no premium on gold, but there was a delay. So they could buy the gold, but they had to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get the gold.
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted to show you, Mario, is why I think there's a crisis in the silver market looming for March.
Yeah. Do you need to allow me to share?
Yes, if
Let
I
me
could share the screen, that will give me.
allow. Okay, there you go. You can share it now.
Okay, yeah, I see now. Um, so just to give you a second, what we're looking at, and can you see it, Mario?
Yeah, yeah,
We're right up to date. This is what's called we're starting with the COMEX delivery notices month by month. And if I've converted it, these are contracts which are called for delivery on each month. But if you look at the graph below, the chart below, I've converted it to ounces, bearing in mind that every contract represents 5,000 ounces of silver.
yeah,
So we got the columns 2024 and 2025, and you can see that every single month in 25 is called for delivery, rate at 24. And overall, over the course of the year, just look at the bottom line here. If you look at the bottom line, it was more than, for the 2025, there was more than double called for delivery than 2024.
yeah,
Now let's focus. Let's focus on the months that we're in now. This is the delivery notices again, same as we saw above, but I'm just focusing here on January 24, 25, 26. In January 26,
yeah,
we went from 11 million, 11.8 million in 25 to 49.4 called for delivery,
yeah,
well up from 6.8 in 24. So we had a massive increase in deliveries in January. We're only 4 days into February, and we're seeing nearly as many contracts called for delivery as were called in February 2025. But what's interesting is I put a column here, open interest on 9th of January. So on the 9th of January, there were 19 million ounces of open interest for the February contract. Almost all of that, has been called, all that 19 million has been called for delivery. I.e., we're talking about over 90%
yeah,
of what was open has been called for delivery in February. We've still got 4 million ounces left. That's probably going to be called for delivery. So we're going to see in the month of February probably something like 98% of the open contracts called for delivery.
yeah. Clive, the other thing that could happen, you could see people come in and start opening positions further in the February contract, so that open interest could even go higher, and they could ask for more delivery.
And exactly, you've hit the nail on the head there, Mario, because if you look here at the March open interest, it's gone down from 508 million ounces to 429 million ounces. So what's happening is people are saying, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute, they don't trust that they're going to get delivery in March. So what are they doing? They're rolling their contract forward or backwards, depending which way you look at it, rolling it backwards actually, into January and February to take delivery in the earlier months, just in case they can't get it in March. And I'm going to show you why in a second they may not get it in March. But let's concentrate on March for a second. We see that March 24, there was 27 million ounces called for delivery. March 25, 80 million. That's 3 times as much were called for delivery in March 25. We don't know what's going to be called for delivery in March 26, but potentially, if all of those 429 million ounces were called for delivery, we'd be going from 27 to 80 to 429 million ounces. I'm not expecting all of that to be called for delivery, by the way, but don't forget that in February, 90 to 98% of the contracts are being called for delivery. So, but even if 25% of that is called for delivery, that's a very unstressed situation. We're talking about more than 100 million ounces called for delivery. And what I want to look at now
And I think
is...
that's how much they have right now in registered category, 100 million.
Yep. Well, there we are. I'm going to show you. Here's the line for registered.
Yeah,
In October, there was 167 million ounces. By
yeah,
early January, 123. Mid-January, 114. Now, only 103 million ounces. The registered silver available for delivery is dropping very, very sharply. Now, don't forget, there's 429 million ounces, which could be called for delivery in March. even if 25% of that, very low, a very, very low number is called for delivery. That's 100 million ounces, of which there's only 100 million ounces available for delivery anyway. And that number, that 100 million, is dropping day by day by day. So by the time we get to the 27th of February, when March arrives, we could well be in the registered category down to 87, 88 million ounces in registered against calls for delivery, even in a very conservative market of 100 million plus.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be 25% of the March contract call for delivery. I think it's going to be more like 75% of this.
The visible shortage in Switzerland, driven by family offices draining physical inventory, serves as the ultimate signal that the paper market's volatility is merely a distraction from a systemic failure of supply. With February deliveries reaching 98% of open interest and a mathematical impossibility looming for the March contract, the big money is aggressively removing counterparty risk before the exchange inventory hits zero. This physical exodus, coupled with institutional betting on $15,000 gold, suggests we are witnessing the final days of the current price discovery mechanism, where the value of silver will no longer be set by futures contracts, but by the physical ounce in hand. Let's get back to the rest of the interview.
Yeah, I mean, a revaluation of gold, I think, is something which cannot be avoided by the United States. And they will not have, they will do it because it's another way of reducing the debt. The very simple mechanism of doing that would be a sale and repurchase agreement with the Federal Reserve. They would force the Federal Reserve into that, which means the Treasury gets to keep its gold, but effectively forces the Treasury to buy that gold and sell it back to them. Basically, they're paying the Federal Reserve with what's called gold notes, which are not part of the national debt. They are perpetual, and they have no interest on them.
Yeah.
So effectively, they end up getting some fresh money that they can spend to reduce the debt in exchange for giving the Federal Reserve something which can never be redeemed and has no interest.
Yeah,
and is not part of the debt. When we looked at those numbers, silver is clearly being drained, not only from the registered category, but also from the eligible category. But if both categories were going down, the eligible category went down from, let's just give that figure again. So the registered went down from 167 in October millions to 103 by now. The eligible went down from 329 to 294. So both categories are being drained. The silver is leaving COMEX. We don't know where it's going, but the fact is, it looks like there won't be enough to meet future deliveries if this trend continues.
Eligible as well is not really readily available, isn't it? It's
No,
like either that's somewhere else in the world, or it's
eligible
encumbered as well, right? Isn't it?
What eligible means, it's the right size bars, but it's owned by somebody, such as an exchange-traded fund, a foreign government, a family office, or somebody else who hasn't yet arranged for moving it out of COMEX. I mean, COMEX is a very cheap and convenient place to store your gold. You can buy your gold on COMEX, and you can choose to leave it there, but putting it into the eligible category. But because you're not planning to sell it, of course, some of it will have a price, but some of it will never be sold. It's held by ETFs. They can't sell gold, can't help sell silver unless the underlying investors want to cash in.
Yeah.
The paper silver market is recovering from a crash, but the physical market in Switzerland has run dry. Veteran analyst Clive Thompson reports a visible shortage where major dealers have zero stock, driven not by retail investors, but by family offices and high-net-worth individuals helping themselves to what silver or gold they can lay their hands on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.